Hi, everyone. Good morning. We're going to start off with Iangana, which is a three-part mixed piece of mine. I think it works really well, this piece, for fall, um, spring, or festival performances. I have used this piece as a choir all-sing piece where I've had all my choirs perform, singing it together. Beginners can just perform part one if you want. The clapping really helps engage the singers and keeps their attention. And then the short solos, I think, work really well for performers who want to sing solos but aren't quite ready to really perform big solos. So the short solos work great for them. In terms of composition, I wrote a layered vocal introduction to the Zulu folk song, and often African folk songs are short. So I try to add material consistent with the folk song. And then I think the repetition of parts makes this piece easy to sing, but the complexity of the rhythm, especially in the second half of the folk song at the Aya Sabama Guaya, you might want to practice saying that, Aya Sabama Guaya, keeps the music really interesting. The descant at the end adds extra energy, but the piece works really well without it. I've done it both with descant and without. And then just a performance note, move, have your singers move. African music needs to be sung with movement. Even just standing side to side works really well. So enjoy. Okay, we'll move on from there. I'm not sure what happened with that video. My next piece is The Rainbow. It's a two-part piece, and it's a Christina Rossetti text. I just love Christina Rossetti. I think the text works well for elementary, middle school, or even high school treble choirs. And I tried to create music that would reflect the feeling of innocence and wonder in the poem. The verse is mostly pentatonic, and it's presented first at unison and then two-part in canon, and then the third time in canon with the descant. And I tried to create a verse that was mainly within an octave that would rise and fall sort of like a rainbow. I used a lot of thirds, but try to make this harmony a little bit more sophisticated by using polychords. The piece is basically diatonic, but it does shift from C major to A flat and then back again. And as far as performance notes, I like to add props when I can. For example, I think this piece could work really well with like colorful scarves on the word rainbow. And then just a note about the piece and performing, take your time with the polka retards in the piece and really stretch the tempo out. Think straight tone and pure vowels as you sing. Enjoy.
We're having a little trouble loading that piece, The Rainbow. We can come back to that maybe in a bit. Ruth, could we go on to the next piece, please? Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We love technology, don't we? The next piece is Did You Never Know by Greg Gilpin. It's an SATB piece, and I think it works well for fall, spring, or festival concerts. And after listening to it and reviewing it, I decided my students would love this piece. It falls into that simple yet sophisticated category. I think it would make a great lyric festival piece for an advanced middle school or even an intermediate high school choir. And after hearing this piece the first time, I felt like it just had an amazing hug. I love Greg's use of layered melodies mixed with gorgeous homophony. The opening Did You Never Know melody I think it's really memorable, and it's restated over and over, not in an annoying way, but in a way that feels like you're just coming home. And I admire how Greg takes his time. The music never feels rushed, and the building at measure 26 with the one secondary dominant chord until the unresolved cadence at measure 38, I think it's just breathtaking. For performance notes, I haven't performed this piece with my students, but I think it would be cool to do it. I would recommend using sign language. I love sign language with layered melodies, especially because it really defines the melodies for the audience. And in the notes that they've attached, I put a link to handspeak.com, which is a sign language site that gives video examples of thousands of words. It works great for if you want to come up with a signing, or you can have your students do it. So enjoy Did You Never Know?
Did you never know? Did you never know how much you love me? Did you never know? Did you never know? Did you never know how much you love me? That your love would never lessen, never go. That your love would never lessen, never go. That your love would never lessen, never go. You were young then. You were too young to know. Did you never know? Did you never know how much you love me? How much you love me? Faith is a wind and red leaves fly before it. Far away in the dusty time of year. Seldom we meet now, but when I hear you speak, when I hear you speaking, I know your secret, my dear.
I think that's enough to give you a really good idea of the piece. It's so lovely. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I'll go ahead and move on to Musetta's Waltz. If it comes back on, I'll pause. Oh, there we go. Musetta's Waltz arranged by Douglas Wagner. It's for SSA. I think it would work well for fall, spring, or any festival kind of performance. And this, obviously, it's a fantastic song from the opera La Boheme. It's a great piece suitable, as I said, for really any sort of concert. Wagner gives freedom of expression in the melody by using tempo changes and quick changes in dynamics. I think he supports the vocals really carefully because the tuning is a little bit tricky, especially in the chromatic sections at measures 25 and 34. The contrast between unison, two-part, and then the three-part sections I find really refreshing. In terms of the Italian, there's a really great synopsis and thorough translation and Italian pronunciation guide that's provided in the music. I would definitely share the story behind the song with the audience before performing, either in program notes or have the students announce it in the context of the concert. And then I really like performances with opera music where singers interact with each other, especially portraying Musette as really flirting nature. I think giggling in the introduction could be super fun. So enjoy this piece by Douglas Wagner. And for another Italian song, I arranged the piece Bella Ciao. And the story behind this piece just really touched me. I would share the story with the students and then also with the audience, that during COVID-19, I know COVID hit Italy really especially hard because families spent a lot of time together there. And during lockdown, people throughout Italy would sing this piece together, standing on their balconies throughout the cities of Italy. And it's a song of hope for the Italian people. I think for programming, this works really whenever, fall, spring, festival. It's an up-tempo arrangement of this Italian folk song. There's a couple different word versions online that you can find, but I thought this was a little more suitable for high schoolers or middle schoolers. I love programming multicultural music, both for the educational value, and then it creates a great variety in your concert programming too. Plus, Italian's such a great language for singers. Just a note about the solo instrument, we went ahead with a B-flat clarinet, which I thought was really cool. But another instrument may be substituted, or even the pianist can play some of the melody line if the choir doesn't have access to an instrumentalist. Or you can use the recording that's also you can purchase. The separate part is notated in B-flat, but the score is written in C. So it's really easy for the accompanist to add the melody of the solo part as well. Enjoy.
Bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao.
All right, this next piece, Candlelight Canon, was one of my choices because it's a favorite of mine. It works obviously really well for winter and holiday. Last year was my 20th year teaching high school, and I have a few songs that have made it into my repeat every 4 years list. And Candlelight Canon is one of those. The piece, it's so singable and it sounds complicated, but it's easy to learn, just what us choral directors like. Every time we perform this, I try to perform it a little differently. It's a great all choirs piece for my December concert and holiday concert at school, and I usually end with it. Canons are great, I think we all know, for beginning singers because they learn to sing harmony by singing melody. Here's the format: unison melody, then 2-part canon, refrain with harmony, 3-part canon, refrain with harmony, 4-part canon, then tag, repeat last line. All this is in my notes that are attached. And then I have to say, performing, I absolutely adore using 4 colors of finger lights for this piece, a different color for each section. My favorite performance was when each section turned on their finger lights when they began to sing the canon in the 4-part at the end. And we had singers on the stage and then surrounding the audience. So try that. They're on Amazon, super cheap, and the students love them. Buy backups in case they break. Enjoy.
And in the glow of the candle
The next piece, I Heard the Bells, is a holiday winter caroling piece. You can perform it with or without the handbells or chimes. I wanted to write a setting of the traditional I Heard the Bells carol in an a cappella, almost like a madrigal-like setting. And the form for this is rondo, A-B-A-C-C-A, with the chorus as the A refrain. Performance notes. This piece, I feel like it should have a bouncing quality on beats 1 and 3 in the A section. I would practice speaking the text with my students, and then you can have the contrast with the B section a little bit more flowing and the C section a little more dramatic and building. And then the final A section is sung forte. Enjoy.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, they're all familiar carols play, and mild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all, I heard the bells on Christmas Day, they're all familiar carols play, and mild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all. Peace on earth, goodwill to all. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. On earth. I heard the bells on Christmas Day. They're all familiar carols play, and mild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all, goodwill to all. Till ringing on its way, the war revolved from night to day. A voice said, a child sign of peace, goodwill to all. Till ringing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A voice said, a child sign of peace, goodwill to all. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, they're all familiar carols play, and mild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all. Goodwill to all.
And the next holiday piece we have programmed for you is Sweet Silent Night, an SATB piece by Andy Beck. This obviously works really well for holiday winter concerts. I feel like it has a kind of a pentatonics kind of feel and could work well with the entire choir or even a small ensemble. And I just love the multimeter measures sprinkled throughout. There we go. I feel like Andy took the carol Silent Night and just created his own little jewel of a song from using the original song as inspiration. Performing, if at all possible, I would perform that ending a cappella. It's just really exquisite. I would think about changing formation, maybe do a single line in a semicircle. I just feel like it needs something sort of intimate. And you could begin with a quartet and add singers. Or I definitely would have singers use a little bit more of a straight tone on this piece. Anyway, I have it down for this Christmas for my students to sing. Enjoy.
All is calm, all is bright, on this sweet silent Silent night, holy night, on the white winter snow, heavenly stars cast their glow, sparkling jewels twinkling bright on this sweet silent night, on this sweet silent night. And the snow comes down,
And the snow comes down,
floating to the ground,
floating to the ground,
and without
and
a
without a
sound,
sound the world turns wild.
I think probably you got the idea how really lovely that piece is. Let's go on to Evening Star. This piece is definitely a fall, spring concert festival piece, SATB. This piece is a little bit more sophisticated middle school or high school music. Yet I really try to make it not difficult to sing because any complex chords are approached by step. As far as in terms of composing, since the text is by Edgar Allan Poe, I try to create a piano motive in the minor that sounded somewhat spooky. I always think about Edgar Allan. Anything he writes is sort of creepy in a good way. The verse works well in unison or as a canon, and I use polychords in the accompaniment to create more sound color. Performance notes. This piece requires a really quiet intensity in contrast with the full resounding chords. Try speaking the text aloud with your singers at different dynamic levels. This piece is meant to be really dramatic. Focus on creating beautiful, intense lyric lines as you sing. And then the last page has a sort of bell-like effect to mimic the stars in the sky. Enjoy Evening Star.
'Twas noontide of summer and midtime of night. The stars in their orbits shone pale through the light of the brighter cold moon. Made planets her slaves, herself in the heavens, her beams on the waves. I gazed a while on her cold smile, too cold for me.
Passing as a shroud of fleecy cloud,
And I turned away to thee, broad evening star. The merest in heaven at night, and more I admire thy distant far, than that colder lonely night. 'Twas noontide of summer,
midnight of summer,
the stars in their orbits shone through the light of the brighter cold moon. Made planets her slaves, herself in the heavens, her beams on the waves. I gazed a while on her cold smile, too cold for me.
passing as a shroud of fleecy cloud,
And I turned away to thee, broad evening star. Broad evening star.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Agnus Dei. This piece, I think, works well for fall, winter, or festival performances. Latin, obviously, is such a great language for developing singers because the vowels are pure and the language is really easy to learn. This lyric SAB piece works well, I think, for middle school or developing singers in high school. As far as the composition, the melody in the chorus was designed to work well on incorporating an echo. I would teach all singers this opening melody first, and then the first chorus is sung in unison. The second is sung with the women echoing the men, and then the last chorus is sung with full harmony in the vocals and the piano playing the echo melody. I like to often treat the piano as another voice. The piece begins in G and moves to E minor for the verses. As far as performance practice in this piece, I would definitely have singers emphasize that day, and then have the E part be quieter. So it's Agnus Dei, like that. Have students rehearse this with kind of a push-pull back. I love using emotions to help students really get different concepts. Think smooth legato lines during the chorus. The verse is quietly driving and more rhythmic in contrast to the chorus. Enjoy.
Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi.
Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Miserere nobis, miserere nobis, miserere nobis, nobis. Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Dona nobis pacem, pacem, pacem.
So Heather, do we have time, or can you play the rainbow here at the end? Otherwise, I can go ahead and take questions. The question is, I'm always drawn to new music. Ruth, do you find that you need to balance your programming with traditional music to appease your audience, specifically for a Christmas concert? Okay, so my audience and my students are sort of unique to Southern California. My school is essentially half Asian and half Hispanic, so it's pretty funny because they don't know traditional carols. And it's so funny. Okay, yes, they know Silent Night and maybe Jingle Bells for sure. But if I teach them a traditional carol, they're so cute. My students come up to me and say, Mrs. Gray, I was at the mall and I heard the song that we're singing. So it's a little bit different. The other thing that I do, it was a tradition when I started at Rosemead, is we have student performers in between the choir numbers, and so we usually like pull our curtain and have solos, duets, and things sing out front. So that kind of appeases the kids to include more like pop music that they want, or that would also probably involve maybe some of the traditional things that they like. I also do, since we have time, I also do a fall project where I have them put together their own little holiday piece with each section, and I like it because it kind of builds unity within the sections, and then they perform for each other, and then usually I pick the top ones and go ahead and put in the concert. So I guess just I try to be creative in ways to to incorporate kind of traditional music, whether my audience knows it or not. The Silent Night, I've included it in having students sing it in Vietnamese, in Chinese, in Spanish, in English, just so everybody can hear their own language. Yay, the rainbow, here we go.
Sail on the rivers, and ships sail on the seas, but clouds that sail across the sky are prettier, prettier far than these. There are bridges on the rivers, as pretty as you please, but the bow that bridges heaven and overtops the trees and builds a road from earth to sky is prettier far than these. Boats sail on the river, sail on, and ships sail on, and ships sail on, but clouds that sail across the sky are prettier far than these.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me this morning. I really enjoyed sharing my music with you.